Welcome to this webinar. Our topic is Paving the Way to Innovation with Employee Development. Continued innovation is the holy grail for every company that wants to survive and be successful in the long run. We've all read that companies that manage innovation well are better at keeping their employees because it brings motivation and an increase in general happiness. But quite simply, innovative companies are more profitable. Here's the result of a study by MIT Sloan that shows that there is a direct correlation between innovation management, the horizontal axis, and profit growth, the vertical axis. So, employees are happier, management is happier, and shareholders are happier. Who wouldn't want that? Let's go back to the definition. Innovation is not invention. Inventing is about coming up with an idea that will solve a problem. It's a creative activity. But innovation is the very real, tangible activity of introducing something new or different. Innovation involves strategy and execution. We said that good innovation management leads to more profits, and you just need to look at the Answer matrix to understand why. It just expands a company's ability to introduce new products and to target new markets. That means growing the pie instead of having to fight for a larger slice. Hence, more profits. Whereas, if you don't manage innovation well, you're stuck in the top left corner and you're at the mercy of market changes and profit erosion. Innovation also allows companies to steer away from the dangerous strategy of aiming for cost leadership. They can instead apply a differentiation strategy. And that's the road to price premiums, which lead to more profits. So, we've covered why you would want innovation. Continued innovation is what most companies should be aiming for. But what's the path to success? A large amount of academic and business research has been done on the topic. And although there is no single magic recipe, there are strong similarities in the processes that were implemented by the most innovative companies. Innovations typically come in one of two forms: transformative or disruptive. Are you looking to build a faster horse or to reinvent an industry? New technology or business models usually lead to transformative innovation. Disruptive innovation, on the other hand, is usually the result of a market approach. Why worry about the difference between the two? You can just look at the research by Clayton Christensen. Trying to go against incumbent competitors head-on has a 6% chance of success. But pursuing a disruptive strategy allows entrants to enjoy a profitable growth because of the price umbrella that incumbents bring to the industry. Let's put that on a graph. We're showing customer demand for the low end and the high end of the market, and the mainstream in the middle. After capturing the mass market, an incumbent would typically add features to try and capture the rest of the market. It's high end. As incumbent companies introduce higher quality products or services to satisfy the high end of the market, where profitability is highest, they overshoot the needs of low-end customers and many mainstream customers. This leaves an opening for entrants to find footholds in the less profitable segments that incumbents are neglecting. Entrants on a disruptive strategy improve the performance of their offerings and move upmarket and challenge the dominance of the incumbents. And that leads to the innovator's dilemma. As an incumbent with a long-established revenue model and fixed cost scale to your market, should you continue in that direction as your profits erode, or should you pivot and get in line with the entrant's innovation? The middle ground approach seen by many industry leaders is to use the cash surplus afforded by their current position to acquire entrants. We said that there are strong similarities in the processes that were implemented by the most innovative companies. It would be impossible to discuss innovation in organizations without mentioning Eric Ries and his insights about MVP, minimum viable product. The most innovative startups use a process similar to its build, measure, learn loop to iterate through ideas and make a decision on whether to pivot or persevere. And they use innovation accounting to measure real progress. For established organizations, realizing that innovation must be the result of a process is key to making it repeatable. Ideas need to be screened and tested on a continuous basis. Organizations that are successful at continuous innovation have processes and committees to act as an engine for innovation. They use a system like the stage gate system designed by Robert Cooper. So, innovation is a process, and there are well-known processes to implement it, but ideas are at the heart of it. The processes are there to screen out the bad ideas and to back the winning ones. But how do those ideas get generated? Product Marketing 101 would point out that they should be derived from insights from listening to the target audience, and preferably aim at bringing solutions to problems they experience. Although a sound way to get ideas, this strategy might be limited in its effects. A modern and more holistic approach is to apply a framework like the 10 types of innovations. It's a tool you can use both to diagnose and enrich an innovation you're working on, or to analyze existing competitors. It comes with lists for each type of innovation that you can try to apply to what you're working on to extract even more innovation. So we know that innovation leads to more profits, that it needs processes to be repeatable, that you would be better off targeting a market strategy if you're an entrant in an industry, and that you can focus on the less taxing technology or business model innovations if you're an incumbent, while keeping an eye on entrants. We also know that ideas are at the heart of innovations, and we know how to get them to form. The only remaining question is, who in the organization should formulate those ideas? Gone are the days when ideas only came from the top. Companies that are successful at continuous innovation know that they need to encourage and consider ideas from everyone in the organization, especially from the people who are the closest to the technology, to their clients, and to their own processes. This leads to two challenges: encouraging staff to share their ideas, and alignment with the company strategy. Innovations that align with the company strategy are more likely to get attention and resources dedicated to their execution. The all-powerful recipe for alignment is OKR, Objectives and Key Results. OKR is the legacy of Andy Grove, former CEO of Intel, and it's now deeply entrenched in companies like Google, Intuit, and the Gates Foundation. It's an adaptation to the open world of the 21st century of Peter Drucker's management by objectives, and it's designed to bring focus and alignment to an organization. The high-level concept of OKR is simply for top executives to define objectives as measured by key results and to make them public for everyone in the company to see. This way, employees at every level can choose their own public objectives as measured by their own key results to contribute to and align with the overall objectives. The transparency of the system acts as a catalyst for alignment, and a focus on stretch goals and accountability allows organizations to leap forward. All those tools and concepts are well researched, backed with data, and constitute a sure formula to foster and steer innovation. This is well and good, but the very fact that they are well researched means that they are accessible by every company. And that means that they cannot be a source of competitive advantage. If you implement everything that we covered so far, you're still on an equal footing with your competitors. This is where corporate culture comes into play. It's increasingly thought of as the only lasting source of competitive advantage, and it's also the only way to consistently encourage staff to share their ideas. Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, famously said that you need a culture that high-fives small and innovative ideas. Companies that have implemented the OKR framework that we discussed before generally also implemented the transformational system that comes with it. It's a blueprint for continuous performance management, as opposed to annual reviews. The system is centered around an instrument called CFRs, Conversations, Feedback, Recognition. It champions transparency, accountability, empowerment, and teamwork at all levels of the organization. We have established that innovation comes from a number of processes that can be implemented and from the right corporate culture. OKRs clearly state what is important to the company, and CFRs and other cultural elements create an environment that nourishes and recognizes innovative ideas. Let's use Andy Grove's definition of culture: a set of values and beliefs as well as familiarity with the way things are done and should be done in a company. Many factors impact the company's culture, but it also means that it can be steered or adjusted. There are several levers that top management and HR can use to foster an innovative culture. Those are generally considered to be leadership, structure, staffing, communication, measurement, reward, and development. For example, innovation requires risk-taking, which should be decoupled from rewards to decrease the fear of failing. With all the processes in place and corporate culture steered in the right direction, all that is left for the innovation journey to begin is that the right people have the right ideas. Bad ideas will be filtered out, and good ideas will move along the systems and be transformed into innovative products, services, or business models. This just leaves one question. Can people generate winning ideas without a good understanding of the systems or markets they are supposed to bring innovation to? If we go back in time, would Henry Ford have designed the affordable Model T that transformed the car industry without an in-depth understanding of how cars and engines worked? Would Bill Gates and Paul Allen have achieved their dreams of a computer in every home if they had not known how a computer works? Would Steve Jobs have made Apple what it is today if Steve Wozniak had not had a good understanding of electronics? Of course not. Even with the best process in place, winning ideas are not generated in a vacuum. The complexity of the payment industry looks like this, times 1,000,000. We're dealing with so many systems interconnecting on a global scale. And that's just looking from the outside. When you look inside, you see systems that have been on constant evolution for the past 20 years, built by people who have long moved on, with legacy systems that we're afraid to remove. Companies that design today the future of payment technology and that will be successful tomorrow are the ones that invest in their staff development, so that they can be experts in today's technology, so that they can understand its shortcomings and come up with ideas to adapt to the changing markets. Ideas that can bridge existing systems with new technology or business models are more likely to be winning ideas because they can be transformed faster and at a lower cost. All it takes for a company to execute on the innovation that will make it a market leader is the right idea. And that right idea is more likely to come from a company where employee development is valued. You just need to look at the course reviews left by our past students to see that there is only so much that people can learn on the job. Experience shows that the few experts that each organization has are stretched very thin on many projects, and they just don't have the time to properly train new recruits. If your pool of ID generators dries up, so goes your potential for innovation. Valuing and investing in employee development is the way to increase your pool of ID generators. And with the right culture and the right processes in place, you'll have a clear road to innovation. Thank you for watching this webinar. You can read more about this topic on our blog on paytechacademy.com. And when you're ready to invest in your technical staff development, you know where to find us.